So today we're going to talk about how to optimize your website for maximum conversion and lead flow. And this is part of our accelerated growth model, where you know we discuss the different strategies and techniques to drive leads, maximize your conversion of those leads, optimize those results, and then drive more leads. And so it's an iterative process that will allow you to improve your results over time and grow your business. Laid out on the table here, these three things. Today we're going to focus on maximizing conversion on your website. And again, this is all part of the digital dominance method. And what's really important about this is, there's a ton of work to do, and you can't really do it all at once, but you want to be aware of all the various things out there. And over time, you want to make sure that you cover everything in order to be successful online. And consider that your competitors are facing the same challenges and we'll be implementing these same things. So it's something you must do in order to have a competitive business in the future. And so that's what these series of presentations is what we talk about. So we'll dive right in. Why you should listen to me. We've produced online marketing for electricians, and even before electrician marketers, we've been doing this a long time, well over 10 years. So we're kind of old in the agency space, a lot of experience, and we know what we're talking about. We have lots of customer testimonials and reviews. And so with that, we'll just dive right in. And so we want to talk about what the problem here is. And the problem is that typically most companies, at least anybody interested in watching this, is probably making a big investment in marketing. And oftentimes what will happen is you'll see a lot of traffic, but not enough leads, and certainly less leads than you might be expecting for your investment. And so what happens then is you're getting a low return on investment. And what that will do is leave you with parked trucks and an empty schedule. And of course, you don't want that. And so, how do you avoid this? Well, there's a solution. And the solution is a great website that is built to convert that traffic. And you need it to consistently convert visitors to callers and leads. And the result of that, when you can get that in place, is a full schedule with your trucks and your crews running. Okay. And that will lead to momentum and consistent growth. And so when you think about this and you think about online marketing, your website is the hub of all the activity that goes on there. And so it can be easy to overlook. Everybody has a website. You've had a website for a long time, but maybe you don't think about if it's up to modern practices, and really think about it from the eyes of your customers and your ideal customers. And so that's what we'll get into a little bit more. And so if we think about why is conversion so important, you know, it's really one of those things that flows directly to the bottom line. So if you look at scenario one, you get 1,500 visitors per month and 5% of them convert. Okay. Turns into 75 calls or leads. And say you convert 30% of those and your average transaction is $750. That's about $17,000 of revenue. Well, what happens if you convert three times the number of those visitors? Well, it triples your revenue, triples your book jobs. And so there's really a direct correlation between your website conversion rate and all else being equal, the amount of revenue. But this goes directly to profitability because what didn't change between scenario one and scenario two is the investment into your marketing. And so by focusing on your conversion rate, you can spend the same amount on marketing and on one side turn it into 17,000, and on the other side turn it into 50,000, which is obviously much more profitable, much better margins most likely. And so that's what we're talking about here today. And if you think, can conversion optimization really have an impact? Absolutely. We've seen it time and time again. And so let's get into a little bit about why is getting your website built to convert important to you. And we've really just covered that. So we'll go into some of these details. And what you can do is you can go to our website, electricianmarketingagency.com/convert-workbook. And there's just some pages in there to help you walk through this as an exercise and consider, maybe where you're falling short and things that you can do to improve and prepare yourself to optimize your own website. So go ahead, go to the website and grab that. There's really 12 critical elements when you're thinking about enhancing conversion. So I'll go over these a little briefly. The first is you want to be speaking to your target avatar, and that just means your ideal customer. And now you might have several. You might have, a more high-end customer that's interested in installing whole home generators, right? That's a much more expensive project. It's not the same thing as somebody who has, a circuit down, or a wall outlet that is not working, right? Simple service jobs versus large home improvement projects. If you get into lighting, maybe, an extensive lighting project. So you have different customers, but you want to be able to speak to each one of them on your site in different ways. Okay. Next thing is you want to be real, especially as we get more into AI and we see more AI generated content, AI generated video and these things. It's going to be increasingly important over time that you use authentic images of your team on your homepage, on your website, and yourself too. And don't limit it to the About Us page. Granted, that's better than nothing, but ideally, on your homepage, which is the number one page on your site, above the fold, which is the number one viewed real estate on your site, you should have a picture of your team. That's what I'd recommend. And it's going to have the strongest impact of any other picture that you could put there. Okay. You also want to use video and multimedia elements, because people engage with things differently. So you might want to have a video on your homepage. You might want to have videos for each one of your services, maybe how-to videos. It depends on the types of things you want to invest in and put out there, but you want to have that kind of content for your potential customers to consume. You want to leverage social proof, showcase your online reviews. Okay, get the basics in order. So there's just some basic ways that things are laid out that you want to make sure are consistent with the average site that people see. Phone numbers in the right-hand corner. There's a web form, ideally a chat bot in the lower right, and adding credibility with authority symbols like Angie, Better Business Bureau, things like that. Okay. Number 6, you want to make sure you have clear calls to action on each page. So basically, the customer, you want the visitor of your website, your potential customer, to know what it is that they're supposed to do. Use special offers and coupons that match the service they're in need of. Make sure your website's mobile optimized. Most sites are these days, but if your site is older, something you should check. And then leverage live chat. We'll talk a little bit more about this later. If you can, give customers a chance to book online if your, resource scheduling platform allows that. And make sure your site's fast and give your customers the ability to engage via phone and SMS. Okay, so as we go through that list, and again, I'll show it to you here again, think about what is one element you could improve upon there that you could do right now that will give you better results. So think about that, write it down, and make sure you do it. Okay, let's go through some examples here. So this is a pretty standard setup. Again, phone number in the upper right, free quote button, form, it's all there. Makes it easy for the customer. This is an example of more of like a PPC landing page. And with a PPC landing page, you're really just cramming an entire website of proof onto one page because the point of a landing page is to drive traffic to it. You don't really want to let them escape. You want them either fill out the form and call or leave. It's easy to measure, easy to optimize, and it's the best way to do these things. And again, clear call to action, clear next steps, examples of your team. It's all right there. It's a great landing page right there. Another example here, I'm just trying to show you there's a pretty standard way websites are set up these days for home services customers, be it electricians, or garage doors in this case. And you don't really want to wander outside that too much because you'll confuse the customer. I'll give you just kind of an example. Don't put your chat bot on the middle left side of your screen. Nobody puts it there, and if you do it, it's weird, right? And the customer's not going to know what to do with it. So while it might seem cookie cutter-ish and boring, don't be not cookie cutter-ish and boring just for the sake of doing that, because you just confuse people and it lowers your conversion rates. So don't do it. Okay. If you want to see what we recommend as a good layout, again, go to offers.electricianmarketingagency.com/cheat sheet. You can download the cheat sheet that kind of tells you where we recommend you put these things. It'll help you out. Um, so moving on to the next thing. This is really about getting in the shoes of your customer. And so this is kind of a funny phrase, but it just basically means view your website and all of your marketing materials through the eyes of your customer. And if you can do that, then you can sell what they want to buy. Okay. And so what you want to do is put together customer avatars. And it seems like a boring, kind of a stupid process. Like, why are you wasting your time with this? Excuse me. But it does make a difference. And especially, as I mentioned earlier, on some of the more higher end things. So are you going to be able to put together a customer avatar of your average service call? Probably not. Because it's outside, I mean, you can't even say homeowner because depending on the situation, it might be a renter that's calling you uh, for the service. Okay. But for some types of projects, you can. High-end lighting, whole home generators. These are sort of projects where you at least can have a rough demographic profile of who this person is. You know, what are their demographics? What are their pains and frustrations? Why do they want a whole home generator? You should address that on the landing page, right? I know why I want one. Very simple. And so that should be, you know, if I'm shopping for one myself, if I see that on the page, I'm like, yeah, that's what I want, right? It encourages me to convert, to take further steps, right? Fears and implications, goals and desires. So most buying is emotional and is justified with logic. So you want to touch on these things. You're not trying to manipulate people. This is just the way that it works. You know, the motivators are what they are, and you're not creating demand. You're tapping into the demand that is there in a way that is natural for your customer. And so someone wants a whole home generator, it's because they're afraid that they're going to be without power for whatever reason. But that's a fear they have. Now, next to that fear, they may have another fear that they're going to get ripped off or overcharged. And so you can address both of those with some very simple marketing statements, but you want to talk about these things on your landing page about why, how your whole home generator install with the brand that you use will guarantee that they always have power. And your pricing is this way so that they know they're not being ripped off. And it will solve their goal of making sure that their home is safe, that they're never without power, and that accomplishes whatever goals and desires that they have. And so you can't address these things in a landing page if you don't know who you're talking to, right? So that's the point of this. And so site wide, you know, consider this in your messaging. And so, a lot of customers are going to be coming to you probably on emergency service calls. Okay. They're going to want to see things like same day service, emergency services, 24-hour service, so on and so forth. So put that messaging on your website. Okay. And then other areas, on your homepage or as customers scroll, again, keep speaking to them. Now granted, the homepage is difficult if you have service and whole, right? You have different avatars. You can't speak to all of them, but maybe you address issues that cut across all of your avatars, like our technicians are trained. Our technicians have long tenure with the company. We've been around for 50 years. We provide X guarantee, right? So ways that you can put your ideal customer, your avatar customers at ease and wanting to do business with you. Okay. And again, be real and authentic. Pictures of yourself, pictures of your team, video. We've covered a lot of this, just kind of hammering it home. Your reviews and social proof, the form, it's all there. Get the fundamentals right. These are just example after example of different ways that these things are put together. And again, get the cheat sheet so you can check it out. And last thing is just use special offers, $50 off a trip charge, right? Whatever. Put something out there to encourage them to call you. And again, make sure it's mobile friendly. So Google has moved to mobile first indexing. More, the majority of traffic now is mobile. Chances are most of your customers, certainly more than half, are coming from mobile these days. So you can't overlook the mobile performance and the mobile design and execution of your site, right? You might want to have a large click to call. There's all kinds of things you can do, but you want to be thinking about these things as you build these assets and as you update these assets and as you think about how you can make them more effective, which means increasing your conversion rates. And again, consider live chat. A low percentage of your visitors tend to actually convert, but something as simple as adding live chat has been shown to increase leads by an average of 35%. I've seen it time and time again on multiple websites across different industries. And the explanation to me is that there are just types of customers that want to interact in certain ways. And they will overlook a lot of different things just to be able to interact in the way that they want. And so if a customer wants to chat, it means they don't want to pick up the phone. Now, maybe that's they don't want to have a sales pitch. Maybe they're in the middle of four screaming children and they can't talk on the phone right now, but they can chat. And so give them that option. It works. It just does. And so when something just works, you just do it. You don't really need to spend the time figuring out why. Find a way to get live chat on your page. It helps. Okay. This is a review of the key ideas. I'm not going to go through this again. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I think it's pretty clear what we're getting at here. And so as you think about what we covered on this brief webinar, the best thing you can do is just pick 3 things, get real images of your team on your site, get live chat going, build a dedicated landing page for paid traffic. Boom, there's 3 things right there. Just do it, get it done. It will improve your results. So that's the point of this. And again, get the checklist, get the workbook, work through these things. Um, it, Improving your conversion rate is one of those things where you can make more money without spending more money. And that's the best kind of marketing that you can do. So don't overlook this. Make sure you do it. And one of the biggest challenges that companies face is unconverted leads. So there's another thing, and we have another webinar that addresses this, but you have to respond quickly. If you haven't followed up within 15 minutes, usually these leads go cold because they've called somebody else who did answer. Okay, so you got to answer the phone. You got to be fast about it. And the solution to this is to leverage marketing automation. And so this is another way to improve your conversion rates, separate from what you can do on your website. So that's step 1, get them to take action. Step 2, which we cover in another webinar, once they've taken action, you got to respond quickly and in multiple ways. And so you leverage marketing automation to do that. And it's the same sort of thing. You improve your conversion rate, you make more money on the same marketing spend. It's a no-brainer. You should be looking for ways at every step in your process, from the traffic to the call, to on the call, to after service, every place that you can improve your process and improve your conversion, you will improve your profitability. And so make every lead more valuable. That's what you got to do. And there's tons of different programs that can do this. We have one called Revenue Commander, where you can set up these automations and do these things. We have pre-built automations in them for you. So if you want to learn more about that, give us a call. We also do a marketing audit where we analyze your market and we tell you what opportunities are out there for you and things that you can do to improve. And to get that, you go to electricianmarketingagency.com/apply-now, and we'll put together this marketing report for you. We'll go through it on a call, explain it to you, and tell you what the opportunity is for you to do better. You can also just give us a call, and we will talk to you that way too. So I hope you took something useful away today, put it in action, increase your conversion rates, and make more money. Thanks for joining. We'll talk to you next time.